Hello students, once again I extend my heartiest welcome to everyone in my class. Dear students, today we are going to discuss a very interesting story uh, from your textbook Honeydew. This story is titled as Bepin Choudhary'S Lapse of Memory. This story is written by Satyajit Ray. Okay, so let us begin. Students, first we'll know something about Satyajit Ray. So here is a short biography of Satyajit Ray. Satyajit Ray was an Indian Bengali filmmaker, widely regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of the 20th century. Born in Calcutta into a Bengali family prominent in the world of arts and literature, Ray started his career as a commercial artist. He was also a fiction writer, publisher, illustrator, calligrapher, music composer, graphic designer, and film critic. He authored several short stories and novels primarily aimed at children and adolescents. The government of India honored him with the Bharat Ratna, its highest civilian award, in 1992. Okay, so if you remember, once I gave you an assignment, this assignment was based on a short video. This video was directed by Satyajit Ray. This video was a story of two boys. One boy was a rich boy and the other boy was a street boy, right? So that story was directed by Satyajit Ray. Like this story, there are many other stories written by Satyajit Ray which are aimed at children and adolescents, right? That story too is also this is also based on two children, those who are playing with their toys separately, and one boy who is the rich boy. He is disturbing the other boy and is not allowing him to play. Okay, and this shows somewhere that how the children, they show different behavior when their parents were not at their home. The rich boy, he was alone in the home, and the street boy, he was not also with any other family members from his family, right? So that's a very beautiful story. You wrote your own opinion about it, that which boy did you like the most, right? So this story, Bipin Chaudhary's Lapse of Memory, is also going to be a beautiful story, and it has some suspenses, the suspenses that get over at the end of this story, right? So let's see what is the main theme of this story. Student, this story by Satyajit Ray is a beautiful story because of the elements of suspense that it is introduced at the end. Okay, as I said that that what that suspense is, it is revealed at the end of the story. Bepin Chaudhary is a very cleverly tricked by Chunni Lal for not receiving the much needed help from him, right? So Bepin Chaudhary, he was tricked by Chunni Lal because Chunni Lal was in need, okay, and he was not helped by Bepin Chaudhary. Chunni Lal was passing through some financial problems. He went to Bepin Chaudhary with a request to get him a job. However, Bepin could not help him much because of his preoccupation. Okay, preoccupation means he was busy with his own works. So Chunni Lal was not happy with this. He was hurt by his friend's lack of interest. So Chunni Lal made a plan to teach Bepin Chaudhary a lesson. He created such a situation for Bepin Chaudhary that he began feeling he was suffering from amnesia. Okay, we have discussed main theme of the chapter. Now let's proceed on. This is the text of the story. So it starts. Every Monday on his way back from work, Bepin Chaudhary would drop in at Kali Charan's in Newmarket to buy books, crime stories, ghost stories, and thrillers. He had to buy at least five at a time to last him through the week. He lived alone. He was not a good mixer. He had few friends and did not like spending time in idle chat. Today, at Kali Charan's, Bepin Babu had the feeling that someone was observing him from close quarters. He turned round and found himself looking at a round faced, meek looking man who now broke into a smile. I don't suppose you recognize me. Have we met before? Asked Bipin Babu. The man looked greatly surprised. So a story starts that every Monday, Satyajit Ray tells that every Monday on his way back from work, Bipin Chaudhary would drop in. Drop in mean to say he would stop, he would visit Kali Charan's. It was a bookshop, and this bookshop was located at New Market. Okay, what would he do there? He would buy their books, and these books would be of different genres like crime stories, ghost stories, and thrillers. And how many books he would buy? He would buy at least five at a time. The reason that these five books would be enough for him to read through the week. So it indicates that in a week, if we roughly say, Bipin Chaudhary used to read at least five books. Now for the retails, he lived alone. He was not a good mixer. Good mixer means he did not enjoy meeting people. Now you can imagine about a man who buys nearly five books a week and finishes them within a week. Then how can we imagine that he would have time to meet other people? So he was not a good mixer. He had few friends and he did not like spending his time in idle chat. Idle chat, useless chat. If he wouldn't meet any people, if he wouldn't meet enough people, so obviously he wouldn't have enough time for chats. So he wouldn't like spending his time in idle chats. And today, that day, when he was buying books at the Kalicharan shop, this book shop, Bipin Chaudhary, he found that somebody was staring him. He was observing him from close quarters. Close quarters means with a close notice. He was observing him. This man was observing Bipin Babu very keenly. So to find out that who that man was, he turned round and found that there was a round-faced man. He was meek looking man, very gentle looking. Now the moment he got the sight of Bipin Babu, he broke into a smile. He broke into a smile. He started smiling and said, I don't suppose you recognize me? Now Bipin Chaudhary, if somebody and if any acquaintance, any friend, any relative, if he would have met there in the shop, obviously Bepin Chaudhary would have recognized him, but Bepin Chaudhary did not know him. So he asked the man, have we met before? The man, the moment he heard this, he looked greatly surprised. Greatly surprised means he expected that Bipin Chaudhary would know him, but Bipin Chaudhary, he said that he asked the man if they had met before. Let's see what happens next. So the man said, we met every day for a whole week. I arranged for a car to take you to the Hudru Falls in 1958 in Ranchi. My name is Parimal Ghosh. Ranchi? Now Bipin Babu realized that it was not he but this man who was making a mistake. Bepin Babu had never been to Ranchi. He had been at the point of going several times but never made it. He smiled and said, "Do you know who I am?" The man raised his eyebrows, bit his tongue, and said, "Do I know you? Who doesn't know Bepin Chaudhary?" Now Bepin Babu now turned towards the bookshelves and said, "Still you are making a mistake. One often does. I've never been to Ranchi." So when this man was staring Bepin Babu, and finally Bepin Babu asked if he knew him. So this man answered, this man illustrated, told him that we met every day for a whole week, and the year he said it was the year 1958 when you had gone to Ranchi to see Hudru Falls. And there, what did this man do? This man, he said that he arranged for a car to take you to Hudru Falls. And he informed that his name is Parimal Ghosh. Now, Bipin Babu, obviously, he realized at this moment that it was not he. Earlier, he thought that maybe possible he was making mistake. He was not able to recognize that man because sometimes because of if we don't meet for a long time, we are not able to recognize some people from in our lives. So earlier, Bipin Babu, he thought the same. He thought that he should be, he could be any old acquaintance, but the moment he informed him that he had arranged for a car to take him, he means to take Bepin Babu to Hudru Falls in Ranchi in the year 1958, then he realized that it was not Bepin Babu who was making mistake, but it was this man who was there, who he was exactly making a mistake, because Bipin Babu had never gone to Ranchi. He had been at a point of going several times. At a point of going several times means he tried to make plans to go there many times but never made it. Now he smiled and said, "Do you know who I am?" The man raised his eyebrows, bit his tongue, and said, "Bit his tongue" means now he thought that Bepin Chaudhary would recognize him after he gave this much information. Okay, so once people, when they don't recognize you, you try to give them hints. So the same this Parimal Ghosh was doing. He was trying to give Bepin Chaudhary various hints. He gave him hint that this was the year 1958. He arranged for a car to take him to Hudru Falls, and this Hudru Fall is in Ranchi. So now, when he found that Bepin Chaudhary is not recognizing him, so he said, "Do I know you? Who doesn't know Bepin Chaudhary?" Bepin Babu now turned towards the bookshelves and said, "Still you are making mistake. One often does that. I have never been to Ranchi." So he finally told this man, the man who informed Bepin Chaudhary that his name is Parimal Ghosh. So you can say that finally he told Parimal Ghosh that he was still making mistake, that he had never been to Ranchi. Right? Now these two are talking. Yes. Now let's see further. Now the man now laughed aloud. "What are you saying, Mr. Chaudhary? You had a fall in Hudru and cut your right knee. I brought you iodine. I had fixed up a car for you to go to Netrahat the next day, but you couldn't because of the pain in the knee. Can't you recall anything? Someone else you know was also in Ranchi at that time, Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee. You stayed in a bungalow. You said you did not like hotel food and would prefer to have your meals cooked by a bawarchi. Mr. Mukherjee stayed with his sister. You had a big argument about the moon landing, remember? I'll tell you more. You always carried a bag with your books in it on your sightseeing trips. Am I right or not? Now, earlier this Parimal Ghosh, he tried to give more hints so that Bepin Chaudhary he recognizes him, but Bepin Chaudhary he told clearly to Parimal Ghosh that he had never been to Ranchi. So this Parimal Ghosh he tried to give more hints. Okay, what did he say? He said that he even had Bipin Chaudhary had a fall in Hudru and he got his right knee cut. And for that, Parimal Ghosh had brought him iodine and he had fixed up a car for him to go to Netrahat. Netrahat is in Chhattisgarh there in Ranchi. The next day he said, but he did not, he wasn't able to go there because of the pain in the knee. Now he also informed further that there was one more person at Ranchi that time, and that person was Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee. Okay, and he gave him one more hint that he had stayed in a bungalow, and the reason for staying in a bungalow was that he did not like hotel food and he preferred to have his meals cooked by a bawarchi, by a cook. And Mr. Mukherjee had stayed with his sister. Further, he told that they had big argument about moon landing. And one more thing that he told about Bepin Chaudhary, that whenever Bepin Chaudhary went for sightseeing trips, he always carried a bag with his books in it. So these were some delicate information. These were some information that if Bipin Chaudhary did not know and this man knew, it was really shocking for Bipin Chaudhary, because how come one person miss so many information? How come one person did not remember a trip when he had even had a fall there and got his knee hurt there? So now Netrahat, as I was telling you, it is a hill station in Latehar district in Jharkhand. It is also referred to as the Queen of Chota Nagpur. Okay, Netrahat. What do we know about what was the connection, Mr. Parimal Ghosh? He said between Netrahat and Bepin Chaudhary, because he fixed up a car for him to go to Netrahat. But Bepin Chaudhary was not able to go to Netrahat for the reason that there was a still pain in his knee. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm sure. Let's move on. What happens next? Bepin Babu spoke quietly, his eyes still on the books. Which month in 58 you're talking about? The man said, October. No, sir, said Bipin Babu. I spent in 58. I spent puja in 58 with a friend in Kanpur. You're making a mistake. Good day. But the man didn't go, nor did he stop talking. Very strange. One evening I had tea with you in a veranda of your bungalow. You spoke about your family. You said you had no children and that you had lost your wife 10 years ago. Your only brother had died insane, which is why you did not want to visit the mental hospital in Ranchi. When Bepin Babu had paid for the books and was leaving the shop, the man was still looking at him in utter disbelief. Now, Parimal Ghosh, one after the other, he was giving him hints after hints, so that Bipin Chaudhary he recognizes him, but Bipin Chaudhary wasn't able to do so. So next he asked Parimal Ghosh that in the year 1958 you are saying I had been to Ranchi. So which month was that I had been there? So this man Parimal Ghosh he informed that it was the month of October. But Mr. Bipin Chaudhary he informed that instead of being in Ranchi as Parimal Ghosh said, he was with a friend in Kanpur and was attending a puja in the year 1958 in the month of October, and said that Parimal Ghosh was making a mistake. But this Parimal Ghosh was not going to leave Bepin Chaudhary. He gave one more hint there, very strange, sir, and he informed him that he told him that one evening they had tea together in the veranda of his bungalow where he was staying, and he spoke about his family. Means Bepin Chaudhary, he told Parimal Ghosh about his family. What did he inform? He informed that he had no children and that he had lost his wife 10 years ago, and he had only one brother who died insane. Insane means seriously mentally ill. Okay, which was the reason that he did not want to visit the mental hospital in Ranchi. Okay, so when Bepin Babu had paid for the books and was about to leave the shop, this man was still looking at him in utter disbelief. He wasn't ready to believe that Bipin Chaudhary recognized him, because as per whatever the information that Parimal Ghosh had given, it seems that Bipin Chaudhary had really spent there some time there in Ranchi, the year 1958 in the month of October, because all the information that Parimal Ghosh had given, it indicates that definitely he had been there. So this was the first part of the story, Bepin Chaudhary, lapse of Bepin Chaudhary's memory. But the way the story is going on, it seems that really he had there is a lapse of memory, because usually people do not forget such trips, especially when you have gone to a hill station, and all the events, all the episodes that he had there, Bepin Chaudhary had there, according to the descriptions given by Parimal Ghosh, Bepin Chaudhary was really not having a good memory. Okay, let us see what happens further. I have some questions for you which are based on what we have just done. First question: why did the man stare at Bepin Babu in disbelief? Okay, disbelief means because whatever the information that he was giving to Bepin Chaudhary about his visit to Ranchi in the year 1958, Bipin Babu was not ready to accept it. Okay, that is why this man stared at Bipin Babu in disbelief. Okay, next question: where did he say? Where did Bipin Babu say he went in the year in October in 1958? We know this. The city was Kanpur. The reason was to attend a puja at his friend's house. Okay. Next question: mention any three or more things that Parimal Ghosh knew about Bipin Babu. See, all the slides are full with a lot of information. And there you can find that Parimal Ghosh knew a lot about Bipin Babu. First, I would say that was the trip, and whatever happened in the trip, whatever the help that Parimal Ghosh had done, and all the various gossips, all the various talks that Parimal Ghosh and Bepin Chaudhary had there, you can mention any three there, right? So this was the first part, and I'm sure that this is going to be interesting, as we find that Bipin Chaudhary, he really seems to have lapses of memory, because everything that Bipin Chaudhary has been informed by Parimal Ghosh, it seems that he really had been to Ranchi. Now we will get to know whether he had been gone to Ranchi, or it was just a trick or anything like that in the next part of this story. Now I'll bring the next part of this story hopefully in a